Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am so glad to be here with you today. I saw a few people in the chat. Hi, Hexy. You were here bright and early. There's Sue. Julie, hi. Good to see you here again. So I hope everybody's having a good day so far, no matter wherever you are. I am. I have recovered from Thanksgiving, and that was good. Hey, Kat, there you are. How you doing? You been busy? Are you all nicely settled in your new place? Let me flip my cameras around and hope they don't do weird things. This morning I was playing with this and it was, there we go, good. It kept losing the zoom function, which was not what I wanted to do. Yeah, it's very simple French knots today because my brain is, yeah, awfully clean background. Funny that, right? But we had a nice big table back here. The contractor had cut me a piece of plywood to put over the two card tables. And it's the first time since we've been in this house that we didn't have the plates were like used to be so close together that you couldn't put glasses. You know, you have a water glass and a wine glass and the silverware and everything was like so close together and everybody's elbows were like this. But he cut me this big piece of plywood that we put over it, and we were even able to put the plates with food on the table. It was wonderful. Wonderful. So yeah, I haven't made too big of a mess there yet. However, the studio's a mess because of course I had to move everything in there. Kat said, hanging in there. Yes, settled in the new place, toying with new art ideas. Me too. Me too. Isn't that fun? I'm just kind of, my brain is a little bit too much all over the place. And so I'm trying to narrow it down to three things. One, the terrariums, which I just have to decide that's the thing to work on. Two, continuing on the wildscapes because I want to have new ones for the show next June. And three, a big wall piece that would be more surface embroidery, but done in bits and pieces. I just realized this was a little bit out of frame. There we go. I can scoot that up. So that's three, except there's so many components in all the three. And yeah, so making little, still working on the little balls and the pom-poms, but I figured I'd go back to my French knots for a little while. So what are you guys working on? Tell me what's happening in your corner of the world if you are working on holiday stuff. For us, we don't decorate really around here since nobody comes out to see us at Christmas. We go elsewhere. So we don't do big holiday decorations. So I don't have to worry about any of that. And I don't do holiday crafts. So I don't have to worry about that. So I can just stitch, right? I can just stitch. And thinking about the garden, last weekend we had the 4-day, basically holiday weekend. And so we spent a couple days out in the yard, my husband continuing to work on the beautiful retaining walls he's making for us out of recycled concrete. And I am kind of planning what I want to do in some newly fenced areas that I'm putting up to, have like more delicate plants that we can protect from Tally so that she can have other parts of the yard that we're not always yelling at her to get out of. Sue said, I never did a postcard for November and probably won't for December either, but I have made a lot of progress on a new scroll. Nice. Yeah, the scrolls are what got me thinking about this surface piece I want to do. Kind of, I don't know, I might just call it a doodle cloth. I mean, I already have the scheme of a lot of it in my head and kind of trying to decide if I want to work in sections, kind of like a crazy quilt scroll thing that I would piece together. I'm not quite sure. I think that's kind of what I'm going to do because then I can work on it in bits and pieces. Hey, Barbara. Sue said it's actually Christmas. It's Christmas themed scroll. I've avoided Christmas specific projects in the past. Did this one just call to you, or what happens with me a lot of times is I see a material or a fiber and I want to play with it, and then that leads me in that direction. Yeah, remember Barbara, she was moving, and then after she got settled, she was going to go meet some cats and see if she found one that she wanted to take home. So I hope that is in your future because fur babies add so much to our lives. Oh, Sue said it sort of called to me, and I'm thinking it might be a good gift for a family member. Oh, that's fun. So somebody that wasn't a regular in the chat asked me after the live stream last week if I would talk more about what I was doing. And at that time I was explaining I was doing pom-poms, but I will say this is my way of creating my larger wildscapes is that I work on sections of them with the French knots, and then I can put it together to make a larger one. Kat said, almost ready to go on the search for cats, maybe while my husband is on a break from master's school. Nice. Sue said, you and Sandy have lit a fire in me for new scrolls. Oh, fun times. Fun times. Hello to anybody lurking out there in the background. We are happy to have lurkers. Phyllis, if you are lurking, I am sending you some gentle hugs. Scrolls are fun because you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. You get that satisfaction of seeing, close to completion. That's kind of why I like to work in smaller bits and then piece them together too for my wildscapes is, even though when I get this done, it's not a complete wildscape. It tells me there's a nice section. I mean, this is small. This is, I think this is a 6-inch hoop. And so when it's done, it'll make about a, 4 to 5 inch hill. And so if I'm making a wildscape that's 18 by 20, obviously I need a lot of these, but it's a start. And then I mix and match my greens. Some of these things I get the French knots in really tight, and then I've got these spaces, and I can decide whether I want to use, the same yarn, or if I want to bring in, now that one's too dark, but bring in something different. Kat said, I'm currently embroidering on a felt gingerbread house I hand stitched. I've never been much interested in holiday decorating, but I got inspired when I realized I could make felt gingerbread houses. That actually sounds like fun. I used to make gingerbread houses with my kids. And then we went to the graham cracker houses, which were a lot more fun. They would save their Halloween candy. And we were the house that all the kids in the neighborhood came over to make their graham cracker houses. Sue said, I wish I could find a good source for spools to wind them on. Have you checked Etsy? Because there's a lot of people doing things now with their 3D printers on that. Hey, Joanne, happy Wednesday to you. Is your garden all settled in for the winter? I know it's got to kill you not to be out there playing in it, right? Whereas here, it's our native planting time of the year. We plant our natives just before the rains come and in the rains. Barb says, you remind me, Sue, at my Book Arts Guild Cafe last week, I was showing off my finished scroll, and one of the others sort of shyly said, I've been making scrolls too. Oh, how fun. I wonder if you inspired them. Oh, you haven't searched online yet. Barb said, and she brought out about a dozen scrolls she had ready for stitching. It seems she had taught a class in making scrolls. Oh, wow. Oh, Joanne said garden is covered in snow. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of right now, like I want the rains to come because there's a lot of cuttings that I put in the ground that are probably going to die. I'm going to have to do them again because the rain stopped. But at the same time, if we have some dry weather, maybe the painters will get here to paint the house. It'd be really nice. I doubt very much we're going to get the house painted before Christmas, but I can dream. We will have the deck done by Christmas. Well, at least the planking, because they're at the last little bit, the long bit at the back of the house. That should be, I bet it'll be done today. And then they have to get the rest of, there's a couple more sections of railings that need to get up and then get the wires strung. And the guy, the finishing carpenter, is working on the handrails right now. He's doing these beautiful curved cedar toppings on the ones where you're going down, which I did not expect, and they're just beautiful. And he's like got them all sanded nice and neat, so we won't have any splinters. Barb wants to know, Joanne, is the snow a good thing? I don't think you have any choice, right? Sue said, we've had a lot of rain and more coming, apparently. I could almost wish for snow for a change of pace. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if the rain, it could come while my husband's still working, but then, he's got shut down for a couple weeks at Christmas, and I know he's going to want to work on his retaining walls. So it'd be really nice if then the rain held off, because you can't really get out there hauling cement around when it's raining outside. But last week I helped move cement, which 2 years ago there was no way I could have done that. I couldn't even walk out much in the wintertime. So it was just really really nice that I've been able to do the work and get the help with my body, that I'm physically able to get out there. I mean, I obviously can't work as much as he does, but I'm putting in my own fence around my area that I want to keep Tally out of. And that's kind of exciting, because I wasn't able to do that kind of stuff. To be able to work not in pain is just amazing. But then it also means it's like, oh, do I want to stitch? Do I want to work out in the yard? So when the rain comes for me, it'll be good stitching time. And I'm already looking forward to spring, because we've got this beautiful, like almost like cathedral overhang right outside the patio door, in where I can see most of the yard. And Tally can be out there in the springtime, which that's her most favorite thing to do. And I can take my stitching out there to work on. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Sue and Barbara. Yeah, it's a huge improvement and unbelievable to me. Joanne said, I don't know how to answer that, Barb. Cold weather kills off the mosquitoes, which is good. Yeah, but then you can't go out and play in the dirt. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? Yeah, I am just like really looking forward to being able to use our yard now. Everything that they're doing has given us much more usable space. I mean, to have half an acre of property and feel like you can't really enjoy as much of it as you want to, because of the design and stuff that was done by previous people. And and it worked for them. That's fine. They were happy with their yard, but now we get to make it more and more of ours. My husband brought me chai from our favorite little coffee place, and it's just the perfect little pick-me-up. Michelle's good. She just had a protein. Oh, don't start talking too much about food, because I don't eat until after the live stream, and I'm already hungry, but that's okay. That's okay. Really can't wait until the guys are done and get all their tools out of the garage. It is so covered in dirt and sawdust, and of course all their equipment. Went to wrap some birthday gifts last week and couldn't get to any of the birthday stuff. I ended up having to use paper sacks, which is fine, but it's like I have tons of gift bags that I can't even get to. I don't know how much stuff we're going to find in the garage that we forgot. We probably bought more of that we just couldn't get to. But it's okay. It's all good. Michelle said it's time for her to start a new stitching project. Barb says, I agree, Susan. Don't talk about food yet. I'll make me some breakfast after your stream. We're so easily influenced, right? Well, something I'm going to try and put together, it might be for next week, is starting this larger project. I think I'm going to just start with some green scraps of fabric because it's going to be an all green project. Hey, Andrea. Good to see you here today. Hope you're having a good day. I have a wall already that I can, put it on so I know how big I can go. I have the backing already, which will kind of dictate how big it'll go, but it's big. So it means a lot of stitching, which is fine. And I know I have a lot of green scraps that I want to start playing with. This is kind of like a crazy quilt, except not. I don't want to think about piecing anything perfectly. I just kind of want to stitch a bunch of my scraps together and then embellish it, and then move on to some more scraps and stitch it together and embellishment, and then eventually stitch it all together on this big thing and embellish it. But I also need to make sure that I continue to make progress on the big wildscapes, because I would really like to have 10 of them done by June, and that's ambitious because then I also want to do the terrariums, and I've got to spend some time on practicing my needle felting because I want to make some new mushrooms before Christmas to add to something. And because there's a call in a local gallery here, they want mushroom art for January. And she said she wants the pictures before Christmas. So I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take an existing piece and add the mushrooms to it. I just have to make the mushrooms. Barb says, hi, Andrea. It seems like it's been a while since I've seen you. Yeah. She has had stuffs going on. Sue said, I've fallen in love with raw edge applique. It's so freeing. Yeah. My thought is I'm just going to, kind of that's it, is just take my background fabric and I'm just going to start piecing things on it. Andrea said, it's just good to hear craft art chat. Yes. Get some different things floating around in your brain. I tried to go to a new thrift shop last weekend, one that everybody said was such a good one. And I must have circled the block 10 times. I could not find anything within like 5 blocks in the way of parking. It's like, well, it might be a really good thrift store, but I'm going to have to go back another day because maybe have my husband drop me off and come back and get me later. Michelle said, Pinterest has lots of good mushroom inspiration. Yeah, I don't need the inspiration. I know, I know how to make the needle felt the mushrooms because that'll be the fastest way to do the ones I want to put into something. I just need to tell myself that, this is mushroom day. So I might do that this weekend. I've been meaning to spend more time with the needle felting for quite a while. And so this is good motivation to get me going to it. Oh, I love it when I can just do French knots chatting with you guys because I don't think as much about, do I need to put one here? Do I need to fill this section? I don't need to do anything. I can just bring the needle up wherever it wants to come up. And this is one of my yarns that has some yak in it, so it's so soft. I wish you guys could feel it. It is, literally butter, absolute butter. There's Miss Sandy Moore. Hello to you. Have you recovered from Thanksgiving and all that yummy cooking you did for your family? And I want to know, did your latest journals get shipped off and did they receive them yet? Because I bet everybody was wowed. If you have not caught her most recent videos, you need to go check out her fabulous Santa Baby journal, which was just really just spectacular. Sandy says, still waddling after I gobbled. Yeah. Yum, yum, good food, right? Sandy said it was shipped and they do love it. Oh, I'm not surprised. It was so marvelous. You are just an amazing journal maker. Hello to you from Andrea. I love it when the crowd's all here. Yes, our groups are small. Yes, everybody's busy with the holidays, but you guys, you guys are something else, the way you show up every week, and I am very grateful for it. Exceedingly grateful. I think if I didn't do this, I would be much more of a shut-in, because other than chatting with you guys and going to work out with my trainer twice a week, I don't go out and about. So you guys really, you fill a peopling void in my life. Sandy says, Susan, I think I'm going to get off the naughty list this time. Well, there's still time for you to stir up some trouble. Sue said, hi, Sandy. You'll be pleased to know you've inspired me to make some new scrolls. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Sandy said, but if I'm still on the naughty list and I end up with coal, I will do a black and white journal in January. Now, careful, somebody's going to see that and they're going to say, Sandy, please do me a black and white journal. And that's not your grunge that you love so much. I was picking up bits of metal out on the side yard that was left from the construction this weekend. And Sandy, I was thinking of you. I was thinking, oh, these things would rust so well. I should send them to Sandy. But alas, I just tossed them in the scrap heap. I think you mean Sue. That was Sue that said that to you, Sandy. Honoring, thank you. I had no idea I inspire anyone to do anything but being naughty. Barb says, this is my social hour for the week. This and dancing on Tuesdays and Fridays. Well, and singing 2 Fridays a month. I guess I have more social life than I think. Yeah, but we have to, I don't know. I don't recover from socializing. Wow. And just like that, people dropped off by half. Wow. Hello to all 6 of you hanging out with me. Yeah, I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot, but I do need some. Yeah, back on the naughty list. Sue said, this is my social hour of the week. Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, there are people that can do tons and tons of that extroverting. It's just not me. Yeah, a cat. Bless your heart. The people might have had a connection issue. And it's also, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I know a lot of people pop into live streams that aren't regulars because they want to see something new. And, I'm slowly, not exactly, but I'm slowly coming to terms with the fact that this is the way things go. This is me, and whatever. I'm mostly okay with it. I don't think I will have a day in my life where I ever feel like I'm completely okay with who I am and where I am and what I'm doing. I don't know, Barb. Life happens too, and people pop in to say, have I seen this before? Am I interested? There's so many options for us out there on YouTube. And then we fall down the rabbit holes, right? What rabbit hole have you fallen down recently on YouTube? I watched this guy that pretends he reenacts what different dog breeds would do in different situations. He's my perfect go-to for a giggle. Barb says, this stream is more social than others I chat on. It's because of you, Susan, who reads everything we say, and everyone here for saying interesting things. Thank you, Barb. I appreciate that. And, I think I've told this story before. When I decided I wanted to do live streams, I knew that I wanted to do something different than the live streams that I had gone to, because there were a couple of them that I went to, and it was obvious that the people had a long time connection like we do. But it felt more like I was trying to enter a private party, and I didn't know the code word to get in. And so I just kind of sat on the outskirts and couldn't, no matter what I said, couldn't really participate. And that happened to me a couple different times with a couple different streams. And I didn't want that. It's like, why am I going to spend the time online with people in something called chat if I wasn't going to chat and if they weren't going to chat with me? Barb says, rabbit holes, 2 of them for me. Camping in the rain, no voices, just high-end camping equipment. Oh, interesting. Hey, Nancy. Hi. Haven't seen you for a while. She said, just came on. Love your live streams and can't get enough of those stitches. That is very sweet. I agree, Kat. Very sweet. Thank you. How have you been and what have you been working on lately? You are always so busy. All of you guys are. And I hope you pause and give yourself pats on the back for the things that you're doing, not comparing the speed. Okay, I've been having problems doing that lately. I've been comparing, and you know that's not a fun game to play because nobody wins. How fast some people are doing things, and especially comparing stitching to people that are painting with like acrylics or watercolor, and they're both, worthy, artful pursuits, but they take different amounts of time. Oh, and you're also watching gorgeous mandalas. Rob Cart. Also, no talking, just quiet music and beautiful mandalas painted afterwards with watercolors. Ooh, you should share that channel with us, Barb, if you have it handy. That sounds like a very relaxing one that a lot of us might like. Sue said, I'm only busy about every other day. Hexie says, I love watching you stitching. I am sticking a triangle full of bullion knots. Oh, I have a pile of bullion knots started that I need to go back to because I've been missing them. Nancy said, I've been laid up for a while. Oh, I'm so sorry, but back at it now, trying to get back to my stitching. I love most manly men out in the woods. Check out Lost Lakes and Xander Budnick. Ooh, you guys are having some interesting things. Hey, speaking of videos with no talking, have you guys watched Ira's shoot? I've forgotten her channel name now. Meditative crafting. I think it's meditative crafting, meditative something. Anyway, she's been doing a lot of silent videos where she's just here, let me put this one on the Barb said, here's Rob Cart's channel and one of his meditative mandalas. But she's been like just stitching without talking. And people are seeming to enjoy that. I'm wondering, how do people feel about that? If I was doing a video of just me working and I wasn't chatting about anything, is that something of interest, I wonder? Kat says, if it's ever seems like I'm creating quickly, it's an illusion. Yes. It's old footage I'm just finally sharing. I like my feed to be all of each project together rather than a mix. That's true. That's a nice way of putting it. We can, grab all our old stuff and put it all together. Sandy says no, she doesn't want something that's just stitching and no talk. That's funny. Okay, Nancy says to check out these guys. Zen stitching, maybe. I don't think that's it though. Shoot, I know her Facebook group that I'm in is meditative something. Kat says fascinating. Zen stitching sounds lovely, but I don't know if my ADHD brain could handle it. Yeah, it takes a certain thing. I don't know. Sometimes on Instagram, like I'll watch the reels where people are just stitching and there's just music in the background, and then you read the caption. And I've been doing some things like that, but Julie says, made yo-yo Christmas tree ornaments for the grands, making a Christmas scroll banner. Oh, nice. Michelle says, I like the chatting. Sandy said, I need your voice to drown out the other voices in my head. Please don't go silent on me. Please don't. You're making the Christmas banner for yourself. Good, Julie. Good that you're making something for yourself. Nancy said, I also need the talking, more fun. Barb says, I think it might be. It's the ASMR factor. Just the stitching itself is quieting. You might try one and see what the reaction is. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I don't know that one. Okay, Sue said, if someone is making something on a screen, I feel compelled to watch. I'd get nothing done if I had to watch to see what was going on. That's true. That is one thing about it. So Nancy said, another great slow stitching channel with talking is To Be Loved Treasures with Corinne. I don't know that one at all. Let's see, I need to star that so I remember to look that one up. Okay, and Barb says, here's a link to Lost Lakes, a Canadian team. Dyeing fabric might make a good ASMR video with water, sounds, etc. Kat said, I might put on a Zen stitching video to quiet my brain to go to sleep. Yeah, I think it would matter, like if they were trying to create a scene, Sue, I think I would be with you. It's like I'd have to watch what they were doing the whole time. But if it was just where you knew it was one French knot after another and it was the sound, especially if it was going through a fabric that made that wonderful sound, you know, because when you're talking, you don't really hear the stitches going through the fabric as much. Nancy said it's Australian. Oh, nice. I like those. Sandy said, that's how I am, Sue. I would get nothing done because I have to watch. Sue said, oh, so Michelle, I could listen to someone making or doing something I have no interest in doing myself. And Barb shared Xander Budnick. I love that there's so many options for us when we're watching our videos, you know, and you don't have to stay to everything all the time. You might pop into one for a little while and then you pop into something else and then you go back to something you didn't watch for a few years. I've been getting people that are watching me now, going back, watching my old videos. They ask me questions. It's like, I don't know. It was 3 years ago. I don't know what I did. Oh, Barb, thank you so much. I got to thread some needles. She's got Corinne's To Be Loved Treasures. All the links. I appreciate it. All right, let's thread some needles. I went through the 4 I had threaded. Wasn't even paying attention. Sue said, I need background noise, but it has to be something I'm not going to get wrapped up in. Yeah, I used to be able to do a lot of stitching to YouTube videos, but I guess maybe that's been it for me, is that I stop and want to watch, you know, what they're doing. And especially if I'm listening to them and they're talking about something going on. Yeah, I can't anymore. Usually I have music going on, although to be honest, the last couple of weeks, it's been so stressful with the construction stuff and then the holiday that we haven't even had music going on. It's been really nice just to have the quiet. I don't know, Kat, did you have a Zen stitching video or were you responding to Barb's comment about maybe Ira's channel was the Zen stitching? I will find Ira's in our Facebook group. I will find her channel that she's doing these silent vlogs on, is what she's calling them, I think. And Ira, if you happen to be lurking back there, feel free to speak up and give me the correct name of your channel. Her name is Ira, I-R-A, and the last name is Z-A. Yeah, so I thought, Kat says, sorry, I was just thinking conceptually. I usually listen to audiobooks to go to sleep. Sue said, yes, after construction noise, I bet the silence was so restful. It really is. We are in month 7 now, people. Month 7 of this. And, you know, they still have to come inside and fix all the stuff that has been torn up, you know, for support. And then some other issues that have to be done inside. So it'll be a while before they're done. And some days the music is nice. If I'm cleaning the studio, I really like to have some upbeat music going, just kind of feel like I'm dancing around when I'm moving across the room. Good point. Andrea said, I can listen to acoustic music when working, but the words distract me if I need to concentrate. That's it for me. If I'm, working on an art piece, if I'm just doing French knots, I can listen to anything, but I tend to go for my Pandora channels. If I'm stitching, if I'm arting, I'm listening to Piano Guys because it's all acoustical, or instrumental jazz. And then if I'm cleaning, I have a channel that I've curated with all my happy, upbeat stuff. No, I think it's ZA. Okay, now it's going to bug me. I'm going to have to find it. You're going to have to bear with me just a minute here. Because now I've talked about it so much, everybody wants to see it. Let me find her. I find her Facebook group. There we go. Okay. And whoops. All right, I got it. There we go. There's her channel. Sandy says, same here. I love the acoustic music unless it's a blues, and then I get a little bit funky with my crafting, and you can tell when I've been listening to it by the style that has changed. Funny. Joe Bonamassa can't cause me to do some really crazy art. This is Iris' channel. Michelle said, I still enjoy the 1970s and 80s music. Me too, Michelle. We are of the same generation. Sue said, I have to be careful about the type of music too. I tend to put on classical pieces. I do enjoy classical music, but it doesn't seem to work with me creatively. If I'm cleaning, or if I'm reading, I might like classical on in the background. And then we have a dog calming music channel, and it's kind of like a combination of classical and new age instrumental stuff. But check out, Iris' channel. Those of you that are journal makers will enjoy a lot of her journals. She does a lot of nature stuff. Yeah. And Ira was here in a live stream not too long ago. She's, on the other side of the world, so it doesn't always work for her to be here with us. She does have a Facebook group where she shares a lot of her stuff as well. And I think it's just called Meditative Craft or Meditative Art and Scrapbook or something, but it's listed on her YouTube channel. And she's just a lovely lady and very, very talented. And if you like my naturey stuff, you would enjoy her too. And you can tell her I sent you over there. Yeah, go check it out later. And let me know what you guys think when you're watching something like that where she's not doing a lot of talking over stuff. And, again, it's certain times that it might be right. And I might try it with a short, which I have done it with shorts. I've done it on Instagram Reels too, because now shorts can be longer. I think they're like 3 minutes now if you want. I know I'm not crazy about the vertical format, but sometimes that's the easiest thing to do. One of these days, I will have surround and a mantle on the fireplace for you guys to look at. I'm looking at the picture of the background in the picture, and it's like, you can sort of at least see the flames. So many things that need doing with the house, and the money only goes so far. So then it's prioritized, and that's always fun. Not so much. So Sandy, are you working on a new journal already? Or are you taking a break now with the holidays coming? I can't imagine you taking a break. Michelle said, Susan, you're very good about responding to your viewers during your lives. Thank you. I appreciate that, Michelle. It's something that's important to me. Oh, and I just realized you just said she likes bluegrass too. Where's Miss Terry? Terry's a big bluegrass fan. I know she goes to the Bluegrass Festival every year. She gets double joy. She gets to listen to the music she loves, and she um, gets to sell her crafts there at the same time. So that's like one of her big events every year. It goes for like a 3-day bluegrass festival, I think. Sandy said, yes, ma'am, I certainly am. I am working on Hugs from Above. Oh, it's going to be a legacy journal about the ladies in our life who loved us so much. Wow. That sounds like a tearjerker one. Of course, you always get so much into the story with your journal. She's probably working at her, Michelle said, where's Terry? Good question. She's probably working at her craft thing, co-op, couldn't think of the word. This is her busiest time of year. This is her big moneymaker time of the year. And so I know at the co-op, she had been working all year on inventory for it. And then she has to be down there, working at it for a while. And then she might have had another craft show going on. I can't remember. Nancy said, I also love bluegrass. Many years ago, I followed the festivals for a summer. Lots of fun. Oh, wow. True confession here. Concerts, live music is too loud for me. Do not like to be that close to all the live music. Now, an outdoor festival, not bad. When I lived in Virginia, I would go to a lot of the outdoor concerts. And as long as I could be way back from the stage, if I didn't have to be close to the stage, it was okay. But going to concerts, not for me. I know some people just really love that. Andrea said, I am crocheting a scarf and headband. I don't know why I bother. I don't usually wear them. It just keeps my hands busy when I cannot sew. Sometimes that's all we need. Somebody else told me the other day they were making, they only knew how to crochet or knit one thing, and these little beanies that look like baby beanies. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but it's the only thing I can knit. And so that's what I'm doing. There's just that satisfaction, and it's a good reminder for us that the importance of arts and crafts in our life is in the process, is in the joy we take in using our hands to create something that wasn't there before. It's not that, oh man, I got to have all this inventory to something to sell. That's like a bonus if we make something that sells. But the fact that we're making something virtually out of nothing, this skein of yarn didn't say, oh, well, this is what this is going to be. But making something out of nothing, it's that satisfying experience on the journey. That's what I was thinking too, Sue. Baby beanies in the ICU for the preemies. That would be a perfect thing for them. So I don't know what she plans to do with it, but I thought that was cool that she says it's the only thing I can knit. So that's what I'm doing. Barb says, I can't stand loud music either, Susan. So no more bars for me either, or concerts. Oh, yeah. Used to love to play pool when I lived in New Orleans. And then the bar where I used to go to play pool decided they were going to start bringing music in. And it was literally the little stage was right next to the pool tables. Nope. That was it. No more pool. Not like I was any good at pool, but it was a fun way to spend a little bit of time. Wow, I think this one might almost be, I think I might do a little bit more over here, but I'm not going to, I can always go back and fill in more with this, but I might wait to see how much I want to fill in on this until I see what piece it's going to go to, because there might be an accent color that I want, or I might just, I might do that. I might fill it. I don't have any pieces of grasses here, but gosh, I got nothing. I got nothing grassy here, but I could just fill all this area in between there with grasses. I haven't done that before. That might be fun. I would have just my big grassy area. Barb says, Andrea, I wear my handmade scarves all the time because it's cold here. Give them to a nursing home if you don't know of another place. That's another good thought. It's my feet that get cold all the time. So my slippers are on, my slippers are off, my slippers are on, my slippers are off. I always got socks on in the wintertime. I think it's good for us to have, places that we can, if there's something like that that's good for, occupying our mind or our hands when we need to. Nursing homes, hospital ICUs, that kind of stuff. Also, just little, I saw somebody doing it with the tiny little free libraries, and they made it an art library, and they just put their freebies out there, and then other artists were dropping. There's just not too far from here. Somebody's doing it. Barb said the other place to give warm stuff is your church, probably. Ours is collecting hats and coats for the homeless. Yep. Sue said teen or homeless shelters might welcome them too. Yep. Barb said, I love knitting and crocheting. Linda needs a new sweater, so I guess I'm planning to make one. I'm impressed when people can knit and crochet actual clothes that people want to wear. I get nightmares still when I think back to home ec. It wasn't knitting and crocheting, it was sewing, but oh man, the stuff was not attractive. Wasn't anything I would be caught dead wearing, well, except for the fashion show that we had to wear them in. But sometimes there's a fiber that I come across that's so wonderfully soft that I'm thinking, wow, this would be really cool to have a sweater out of it, because I can't, of course, find anything that I can buy that has that same softness. And I've been buying a lot of clothes lately and then sending a lot of clothes back, but I finally feel like I've got, things that are in a wardrobe growing in the size that I am now, which feels nice. Barb says, well, that's the thing, Susan. It's so danged hard to knit to a pattern and have the pattern fit. I was lucky with the sweaters I made 20 years ago. Yeah, I can imagine it would be so difficult. Unless it's one that you've made before and it's like, okay, this one fits, or it needs to be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller next time. Yeah, that I'm impressed when people do it. So lucky Linda, if you're going to make her a sweater. Are you guys still working on your quilt blocks? Barb says, I love knitting scarves because they can be anything. And I've got socks down to a science, always 60 stitches. Wow. Julie said, I can knit sweaters, but I understand home ec. My mother was a wonderful seamstress and she never compared our stuff, but I did. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to. I think it's just our nature, right? I think that's just human nature to look at one. At least we weren't having to make the same thing. Well, we did have to all make an apron. I remember that, but then we had to do something that we would wear. And I did a skirt that was, well, it was so short that my grandmother was scandalized. So then she made me add like 3 ruffles around it, which were really not a good idea. Barb says, no more quilt blocks. I'll probably use one of the quilt blocks on my 2025 book cover. Oh, that's nice. Pillows too, throw pillows. Yes, Sue reminds us comparison is the thief of joy. I had to memorize that for my own well-being. Yep. It's one of those things some of us, like me, need to have, every time you come around a corner in the house, there it is, it's on the wall, because it's so easy to fall into that trap. And what's hard to remember is the journeys that we have been on that take us to where we are at this stage of our creativity. And that's the important thing. I really feel like I need to learn to honor my process more. It's taken me a long time to get to this process that I do enjoy. And there's no reason that I have to do it any faster than I do. There's no timeline that yes, I miss some calls for art because I don't get something done in time, but that's that's not brain surgery, so it doesn't affect anything else in the world. Andrea said, I don't follow patterns. I just make experimental pieces. It helps me practice stitches. Again, that's a wonderful way that your brain is wired, because not everybody can do that. You do your experiments and they turn into something marvelous. Barb said, when Linda's sister was here for 2 weeks, they got me to give them a mini workshop in making mandalas, and they made mandalas for 2 weeks. Oh, that is very cool, Sue said. Very cool. Barb said, yeah, I follow the grazing principle too. On to the next pasture. Yep, that's a good way. I like that idea. We're grazing. Michelle said, me too. I just wing it. And that's, I think, when we bring that childlike joy back to our work, is the kids aren't following a pattern. Even when you give a kid a paint by number set, I bet they don't all follow paint by number stuff. I know I never did when I had those. If we can retain that joy that comes from being a child that's just having fun with it, it doesn't matter whether we even finish it. It's all in the doing. Ooh, that's a saying I need to put everywhere too. It's all in the doing, not in the finishing, not in the having. It's in the doing. Life is in the living. All right, I can thread one more needle. I think I have enough for one more batch. And I think I might grab my grasses and just really fill in those things with, I've got to decide, I think with my waxy grasses. So this definitely is going to be something that needs to go near the water. I can tell. And I love it. This is what happens to me. This is how I create, is I start stitching like this. And, I start thinking, okay, is there a complementary green that I want to put in here to become a hill? Now, just in the middle of working on these here with you guys, I'm thinking about the grasses. And now I'm like really excited when I get back from working out today to get out my threads and start making grasses for it. Yeah, Michelle said it's like a recipe that can be changed. Yes. Sue said, I also have to remember to get out of my head and into my hands, from Kate at The Last Homely House on YouTube. That's another great channel to check out, people. The Last Homely House on YouTube. Yeah, get out of your head and into your hands, because nothing is going to happen if you're stuck in your head. Nothing's going to get done. There's not going to be any progress on anything. What there's going to be is a lot of usually beating of self, a lot of procrastination, which doesn't get anything done, a lot of the compare game, which is just not healthy, and a lot of I don't know, losing the joy. And who wants to lose the joy? I want more joy, not less. Barb said, I'm grazing back to one of Jerry Bellini's first videos in her recent group. She showed 7 ways to attach one piece of cloth to another. Oh, that sounds like a great video. I'm going to make a piece of cloth to cover my circle book. I love that idea. 7 ways to attach a piece of cloth. I used to, there were a few ways that I'll have to go watch that now and see if it'll trigger a memory, because I can remember watching somebody's video, how she did backgrounds for one of her pieces, and was utterly fascinated. Ooh, I'm going to have, yeah, if you can find it, that would be great, Barb. Thank you. And think of what you can do. If you can take different size pieces, if this was fabric, you can take different size pieces of fabric, different scraps, and attach them in different ways, and then embellish them. What an adventure, right? That's kind of why I want to start this big kind of crazy piece, to have the adventure of making this massive thing that's just one adventure after another in shades of green. That's it. It's going to be all green. No accents, no water, no rocks. There will be beads, but no rocks. There will be sequins now that I have some. Thank you, Miss Sandy. There will be fun things on it. And I just kind of anxious to kind of just do more surface work. Like I miss doing things like feather stitch and fern stitch, stem stitch, that kind of stuff that, you know, lays flat all the time and really doesn't have a place in my wildscapes. But if I'm doing something that's just, I know ahead of time is just going to hang. Oh no, the title is going to be It's Easy Being Green. How's that? It's Easy Being Green, because of course anybody that's ever watched Sesame Street might remember that one. Sandy says, thank you for jogging my memory. I wondered where they went. Yes, I even got little clear containers to put them all in so that they'll fit on my little drawer. Yeah, I just, that title came to me before I even knew how I was going to do it. It's like, okay, I got to do a piece called that. And then I started thinking about what it would be like. And I thought, oh, it's easy. You just pile all your greens on and see where it takes you. But I think the, love the lime green sofa. Yes. I think it's easy to be us when we get out of our own way. And when we're us, which might be a creative us, it might be somebody that's stitching, it might be somebody that's painting, it might be somebody who's cooking. Life gets easier. It's when we're fighting being us, when we're trying to be perfect, we're trying to be somebody else that we see, we're trying to compare, that gets in our way. Yes, Nancy's right. She said, and there is such a thing as taking a rest too, or a creative break. And that's so important. It's so important for our mental health, because how many times you sit there and you know you need to just kind of sit and relax for a while. You need to calm yourself down. And then suddenly all the ideas of what to do about a project are popping into your head. Kat said, wow, that hour went by fast. I know, right? Because we had a great conversation with great folks. Hey, Joanne, bye-bye. Take care. Stay warm with all that snow going on around you. I hope everybody has a wonderfully creative week. I understand people logging off now. I'm going to hang around in case Barb comes back with that link, because that sounds like a video that would be fun to go watch, because how many different ways we can attach fabric. It's not like any of us ever need to make larger pieces of fabric out of smaller pieces of fabric, right? And I'll stick around until this little bit of yarn is done, because I know Barb can always post it in the Facebook group too. Well, I just appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I stitch and make progress and talk through all my stuff. Bye-bye, Michelle. Okay, thanks, Barb. She said, I can't find it exactly, but try this one. And if you find it again, you can always post it in the Facebook group. Okay, everybody, you have a wonderfully creative week. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.